I, I don't even know what to say. I don't. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Shook. Make videos for NBA. All of these videos get posted on this subreddit right here. Sorry, guys, didn't respond to you guys tonight. I'm just in absolute. I don't. I don't even know what to say. But it's DF Sports to make updates with all the news that comes out. People talk strategy here. You can ask me questions. I'll respond to you, stuff like that. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll definitely check that out. If you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can do so on Twitter at ToryLangley1992. So guess who was in my lineup tonight, guys? Guess how many points I finished out of the cash? Just take a wild guess. 240 was the cash line. I was 20 fantasy points out of the cash. Luka Doncic, injured in the first half. Brandon Ingram, absolutely smashing, injured in the first half. How many fantasy points do you think Luka finishes with? How many fantasy points do you think Brandon Ingram finishes with? Ingram was absolutely smashing. Let's say he at least gets a double double. Like let's say at least he goes for like 25, 10 assists, and like 7 rebounds. That's what, 50 fantasy points? Let's add 25 to Ingram. Luka wasn't having the best game, but probably plays what, 38 minutes. He only played what, 28, so he lost out on a good 10 to 12 minutes. Let's add 20 fantasy points to Luka. So 25 to Ingram, 20 to Luka. That's 45. Let's do the math. 218 plus 45 equals 263. Where did that end up? Let's just top 10. But no, I finished right outside the cash. Ingram injured. Luka injured. To end my night early. And I get everything right today. I get everything absolutely right. And the first thing I want to talk about here is I don't watch people making videos for DFS content because I want to keep my mind relative. But after I made my video, I watched some content on YouTube. Absolutely no one even brought up the name of Usman Dieng. No one. There's not one video out there that brought up Usman Dieng. But everyone, after the day goes on, after people wake up, now all of a sudden people start to talk about Usman Dieng. Okay, all right. Why did no one mention him last night when doing their initial stuff? Interesting. Very, very interesting. Just goes to show you, I think you gotta, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think it's just kind of crazy how stuff changes based on other people's insight. It's very, very weird to me. I think there was one video I watched that Diang was even mentioned, which is just wild. But the core that I have for today was I made Usman Dieng a core play today. He absolutely smashed. I also made Cam Reddish a core play. He was solid. I made Trae Young a core play. He absolutely smashed. And I had Wiggins a core play. He got benched, obviously. But I also was very, very high on Trey Mann. Everyone in the Discord played Trey Mann today, pretty much. By the way, Discord link will be down below where you get this in-depth content where I go over all of this stuff to where you can win an insane amount of money by just doing stuff that other people aren't doing. So I live streamed before lock today. And the biggest thing that I said was, I'm going to play this slate that Oklahoma City Thunder is going to troll. They're going to get blown out. And I'm going to play it that way. And it worked out absolutely massively for some people in the Discord and had huge nights. I would have had a huge night myself if Luka and Ingram didn't get injured. This lineup would have absolutely nuked the slate. Um, like I said, the 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 edge is there when you do the extra research. When someone is chalk and there's volatility with them, you don't play them. And I thought the Oklahoma City Thunder chalk had very, very wide ranges of margins of outcome, which led me to tell everyone in Discord to not play them and to go to the bench guys, go to Diang, go to Trey Mann, go to Wiggins. I even mentioned Lindy Waters, I believe. He absolutely broke the slate. I mentioned, who else did I mention? I don't know who I mentioned, but would have been an absolute just crushing day because I got absolutely everything correct today. Like, absolutely everything correct. I was spot on with everything, and I just get punished by 2 injuries. It's just absolutely wild to me. No one runs worse. If anyone says they run worse than me, they are absolutely lying. They need to go take a lie detector test to prove it. Because I, I don't even want to tell anymore. I'm just so mad from what occurred tonight. I really, really am. Like, you guys know I troll. I troll, right? It's all jokes. It's all fun. It's all jokes. But I am actually mad with what happened tonight. I should have won probably like 5K tonight if those players didn't get injured, which is just very unfortunate. So this slate is just god awful. It's god awful. There's going to be more chalk in this slate. There's just everyone's priced up. It's just a bad slate in my opinion. I do not like this slate at all. So I would personally go small in it. It's really up to you guys. But we have Clarkson, we have Kessler, both questionable. If they're both in, there's just not much that stands out to me. Markkanen loses the usage bump. You also have a tough matchup against Orlando. Clarkson, Kessler, I think would be a bit overpriced or priced about right. THT would be unplayable at 6.5K. Kelly Olynyk would be overpriced. Chris Dunn's overpriced. I'm not going to play Abaji. Rudy Gay would lose minutes. So Fontecchio would go back to the bench. There just wouldn't be anything really. But if those two are out, I could get behind some plays. I think Markkanen would be a pretty good play at this price tag. He'll just play huge minutes and he'll be the clear number 1 on this team. Now, Orlando is definitely tougher against, actually Wendell Jr.'s out, so it's a little bit better. But yeah, I do like Markkanen if those guys are out. THT would be playable at 6.5K, but the price seems still about right. Would be like a pretty safe play, like a very good cash game play, but does still have upside, but the floor is pretty high with them with those two guys out. So I like the top 2 guys if Clarkson and Kessler are out. I was extremely high on Kelly Olynyk last slate with those 2 out. He just doesn't play as many minutes as I thought he would. I still think there's plenty of upside if those 2 are out. So I would like Kelly for GPPs if those 2 guys are out. Chris Dunn, I don't think I can play him at that price. Abadi will start, but very low usage. He'll play decent minutes, okay value. And if Fontecchio starts, don't play him. He's just super low usage. I probably wouldn't go there. Rudy Gay got rotational minutes last game. Fine Dart if those guys are out, but not something I'm excited about. All right, on to Orlando. There's just nothing here. There's really not. Banchero's overpriced to me. Marco Fultz seems priced about right. Does have a ceiling, though. We also have Gary Harris back, so that's Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs. They're both going to lose minutes. Both don't look appealing at their prices. I do prefer Suggs to Anthony. Mo Wagner just didn't close last game. I don't know why. This is what I will say. If you think he closes and plays 33 minutes again, I think he's a very, very good play. But there's also the risk of him just not closing. So I don't know what to do here with Mo. But yeah, like I said, if he plays over 30 minutes, I like him quite a bit in a really good matchup against Utah. But you also have the risk of him just not playing the fourth quarter again. Already went over the Orlando guards with Gary Harris back. There's just not much here. Gary Harris himself will play around 30 minutes. Has to hit his shots to reach value, reasonable value play, but pretty unappealing game altogether. Houston at Pacers. So I don't think a lot of people are going to realize these Rockets were on pace to play very, very big minutes last game. They even played big minutes in the blowout. Besides KJ Martin, Jabari Smith, Jabari's been losing minutes of late, even though he played in a blowout. I believe it was this game. Played in a blowout in this game. I think if the game stays close, they're probably going to close with Tari Eason. I could be wrong there, though, but we have no Kevin Porter Jr. So, Sengun, this is what I will say. It's a good spot. It's a pace-up spot. With no Kevin Porter Jr., they're going to run their offense through Alfred Sengun more, which boosts his assists upside, boosts his floor and ceiling all in general. So, I do like Sengun quite a bit for GPPs. I like Jalen Green quite a bit at 6.4K. Assuming they run the same rotation, he gets a boost. He'll have the ball in his hands a lot more. Tari Eason seems appropriately priced now. Same with KJ, same with Jabari. I assume Jayshawn Tate will move into the starting lineup. If that's the case, I think he is a pretty good value. Decent point per minute guy that probably plays around 30 minutes. Not a ton of value on this slate outside of the Brooklyn guys. So I do like Tate if he starts. And I think that will do it for the Rockets. Let's move on to the Pacers. So really, really good spot here. Houston is atrocious against point guards. My only concern is the risk for a blowout. I think people are going to be scared of this Halliburton price tag, and I think that's definitely a mistake. If you think this game stays close, I think Halliburton looks like one of the best spend-ups on the slate, personally, to me. If you think it stays close. Houston has just been absolutely getting destroyed by point guards. So I like Hallie. I like the matchup for Turner. I wish the price was cheaper, but he has a ton of upside as well. Buddy Hield's minutes are kind of on a downtrend, so I don't think I can pay for 6.2K for Buddy Hield. Mathurin, no. TJ, no. If Naismith's out, you can play Noora, but he didn't really get a minutes bump there, but would be fine. And I don't think I'll be going to anyone else. Let's move on to Charlotte. So you would think I would have a lot of interest in this game because it's two bad teams, two teams that don't play defense, and two faster paced teams in the league, but the pricing just seems right. And like Detroit's healthy again, so like it's weird. I think Terry Rozier is still solid with no LaMelo Ball playing huge minutes. This game should, I repeat, should stay close. So I think Rozier is a solid play. It might be a pretty good cash game play. Kelly Oubre at 7.5, once again, I think is like priced about right, but he offers a ton of upside as well. I think now that they're close in price, I give the edge to Rozier. Gordon Hayward, no. PJ, no. Mark, don't love it. Dennis Smith Jr. probably plays mid-20s minutes. Okay value play, but there's just really not much. And I might be wrong. I feel like the pricing is about right with this team, but we'll see what tomorrow brings when I look at ownership and stuff like that, projections. But not too excited about this game altogether. But I think Rozier looks good. I think Oubre has plenty of upside. Dennis Smith Jr. is a fine value. I don't like PJ. Mark's okay. And on Detroit, we have Hayes back. We have Duran back. But we still have Diallo, Burks, Stewart, Bog all out. I don't know what they're going to do with the starting lineup. My guess, Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Livers, Magruder maybe, and then they start one of the bigs. Or they can go Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Livers, Marvin Bagley, and then either Jalen Duren or Wiseman. I don't know what they'll do, but I would assume Jalen Duren is on some type of limit. And I would assume Killian Hayes won't be on a limit, just a hand injury. So, with that being said, with Killian Hayes back in this offense, I think that definitely hurts Jaden Ivey, and now the price is up. So, I would much rather go to Killian Hayes, who I think is a solid play at 5.4K. Marvin Bagley, if he comes off the bench, you cannot play him, but if he does managed to start, would have some interest. Wish the price tag was a little bit cheaper though. If James Wiseman starts, and there is a limit, like if they start Wiseman and Bagley together and there's a limit on Jalen Duren, I think Wiseman's pretty sneaky for GPPs. If they start Wiseman without Bagley, then it just kind of muddies the waters for me because then they have three bigs that can play the five. We'll see what the starting lineup brings. I'll make updates in Discord and on Reddit and stuff like that. But the bigs, it's just a wait and see approach there. If Liver starts, he's playable but very low usage, but he'll play big minutes. Kojo with those two guards coming back probably loses a ton of minutes. Probably plays around 20. I don't think I can go there at this price tag. I mentioned Eugene Amorie last slate. I mentioned him like Usman Dieng tonight. I mentioned him. Do you guys not remember? I mentioned him. Nobody else did. No one. No one even brought up Eugene Amorie's name. No one. Smash. I don't like much else though. Magruder starts. You couldn't pay me to play him, but would be playable. But let's move on to the Warriors. So everyone's going to be in. Kuminga, Clooney, Iggy, all probable. I think Steph's always a good GPP play just because he has like the highest ceiling pretty much out of anyone in DFS. Outside of like the big names of like Jokic, Luka. Well, not Luka anymore. I would argue Steph has a higher ceiling than Luka right now with Kyrie on the team. But like Jokic, Giannis, Steph's definitely right up there with them when he's absolutely cooking. So I always like Steph for GPPs. Clay Poole, they're overpriced with Steph back. Same thing with Steph back. That actually helps Draymond Green with his peripheral stats and stuff. Not the best matchup, but I think he's definitely in play more than he would be. On a regular slate, Dante, no, I'm not going to play anyone else though. On to Memphis. So actually, I have to think about this. So Ja, Adams, both out. Draftkings did a pretty good job with the pricing here. I think Tyus is like a 7 to 8K player, which I still think is a little bit too cheap. So I still think he's a pretty solid play. If no one's gonna play him as well, I'll definitely consider playing him. Desmond Bane offers a ton of upside. I still think he's a pretty good play. I don't think his price went up enough. Jaren Jackson Jr. at almost 9K is just like, okay. I think I'd rather play Bane. Xavier Tillman will play over 30 minutes. Seems reasonable. Very safe play to me. Dylan Brooks, if you think his shots, I think is a solid value play. Pretty sure he got benched for shooting poorly, but he'll shoot the ball a ton with no Ja Morant. And I'm not going to go to anyone else. And then I'm going to save this Brooklyn team for last because I think that's the most important team that we have to talk about. So we'll go over this game first. So we have Brunson questionable. Once again, DraftKings priced everyone up. I think it's a good spot. I played Julius Randle last game in a smash matchup, only goes for 30, but like him as a bounce back candidate here, I think he's solid as a spend up at 10K. Brunson, if he plays, I don't know if we'll be on a limit. I would assume not. I feel like he's been dealing with his foot for a while. We'll see, though. If he's not on a limit, I like the matchup a lot. I like fast-paced games, and I think Brunson thrives in them. So if he plays and is not on a limit, I do like him. If he's in, RJ quickly, all out of play. Hart out of play. Quentin Grimes out of play. Mitchell Robinson, always like his ceiling for GPPs. But if Brunson's out, that makes me like Randall even more. RJ Barrett would be playable, but once again, the price has gone up. Quickly would be playable. Once again, the price has gone up as well. Not a smash anymore. Still would like Mitch. Josh Hart would be viable at this price tag. I actually think he might be my second favorite play on the Knicks if Brunson is out. Just it's a price thing. It's really a price thing. And I wouldn't really go to anyone else. Let's move on to Sacramento. So not a good spot, but I think Sabonis and Fox are good contrarian plays. The wings, they're all just there for me. Now that they're priced up with Fox back. Not too much interest, but fine last piece in. And I'm not going to go to anyone else. So last game here, guys. Let's talk about it. Giannis is probable. Drew is probable. It's really just Giannis for me at the top. The only risk here is potential for a blowout. Because everyone's going to be resting on Brooklyn. So if you think this game stays close, then Giannis is the best spend up on the slate. If you think it blows out, then hard to get to him. And I'm not going to be touching anyone else with those two guys back. But here we go. So I don't even know who would start. I really don't know. I believe Sumner's been out of the rotation. Missed the last 3 games. Birth. Oh, it's been birth of his child. Interesting. Okay, so he's been out due to a personal reason and due to having a baby. So I don't know who would start. I know Bridges will start. I think Nerlens Noel will start. Dorian Finney-Smith will start. I think Cam Thomas would start. I don't know who would be that fifth starter. It could be Seth Curry. It could be Joe Harris. It could be Edmund Sumner. I don't know who that would be, but let's talk about those four real quick. So, if you think this game stays close, Mikal is going to lead this team usage-wise. He's going to have to do everything for this team. If I was playing Mikal Bridges tomorrow, I would 100% have Giannis in my lineup as well. So, if you think this game stays close, he looks great. Um, Cam Thomas, I think, will probably play in a blowout regardless and play huge minutes if he's in the starting lineup. He looks absolutely amazing. Dorian Finney-Smith is playable, but will not play in a blowout. He could probably get there in a blowout or before a blowout. If they start like Seth Curry, I really like him at 3.5K. Like if they start Seth Curry at the point, then I really like him at 3.5K. If they start Sumner, we'll see. If they start Joe Harris, then Joe Harris would be the least guy that I would want to start. And then assuming Nerlens Noel starts, I really like him for value at 3.3K. And there's also another guy, Day'Ron Sharpe, who I think will either start. I think it'll be Noel who starts, but he will play the backup five, and I think he would play in a blowout as well. So I think he probably plays 18 to 20 minutes regardless tomorrow, and then potential for more in a blowout. I like Day'Ron Sharpe a lot for value. I really like Noel. I really like Day'Ron Sharpe. You can absolutely play both together. I think you can in this spot with their current pricing. So that'll do it for the slate, guys. I hope you guys had a better night to me and avoided injuries because no one runs worse, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.